in the studio now, namely Communication Angel and Caring Capall. From Communication Angel, there's Melanie Boyle. Melanie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John.
And Caring Capall, Katie Coyle. Katie, how are you?
I'm grand, John.
Good. I'm a little nervous, but everything will be grand. You have to trust me.
Big breaths.
Yeah, okay. Take some deep breaths there while I chatted for a second to Melanie. Melanie, Communication Angel, tell us about it.
So Communication Angel was inspired by my daughter, Ellen, who is non-speaking. She has Angelman syndrome. And when we discovered she had Angelman syndrome, we learnt that it meant she would have difficulty in walking, mobility. She possibly would have epilepsy, which she does, and she would be non-speaking or find it difficult to communicate. So at that point, my husband and I had to try and find a way for her to find her voice. And that's when we discovered through a charity called Assert at the time, now it's Angelman UK, we learnt about AAC systems that could help communication.
What's AAC systems?
Augmentative and alternative communication. So it would include the sign language LOV that's used in Ireland. We would have used Makaton when we lived in England. But can be in a paper-based communication book, and that's what we started with our daughter, called Pod. And you can also get them on high-tech devices. So on iPads, you can get AAC communication apps.
Okay.
Or on speech-generating devices that are really high-tech and fancy.
So this is different ways of communication and different ways of teaching for people with additional needs. Is that right?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. So what we discovered when we were trying to find a solution for our daughter to find her voice was that we found a communication system. We're like, brilliant, we've got it now, we've got the key. Mm-hmm. We had no idea how to use it. So that sent us on a big, long learning journey. And through, at the time, I was working in special education teaching. And while I was learning how I could support Ellen with her communication system, I was recognising how I could also help the other children that I was supporting. And for myself and my husband, the gap for us that was learning how to use them. And that's what Communication Angel does. It helps train parents and teachers in how to use the communication systems.
Okay, so it's not the communication systems and you've developed, but it's about teaching people how to use them and get the most out of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's lots of different ones on the market. I just help people learn how to use them. It's a bit like giving someone a car and expecting them to be able to drive it without having any lessons. So I would be like the driving instructor.
And how have you found, is there a huge difference?
Between driving?
No, nothing to do with driving, but with
communication.
Yeah, and your daughter and
we have such great chats together and lots of wow moments. One of the real breakthroughs for us was when we were going to the hospital. She was sick and we were waiting to be admitted into A&E, and she tapped on her communication system and said, "I'm bored, I'm cold, I'm tired." So she was telling us how she felt.
Bear in mind that she's non-verbal.
She's non-verbal, so this was through her communication system.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, Katie, you're up. Caring Capall as in a horse, so I'm guessing...
I'm impressed. A lot of people even say it wrongly, so I'm impressed.
I don't know much Irish, but I can understand that part. So it's an equine business.
Yes, it's an equine business. It's really, thank God, times are changing. People are realising how horses can physically and cognitively and emotionally help people. Mm-hmm. Again, inspiration from my son with Down syndrome.
Okay.
So I suppose even inspiration going for my own mental health as a child. Melanie said I had to mention this because the stables were my sanctuary from everyday life, and they helped my own mental health growing up. So when I moved to Ireland back in 92, I had land, I had horses. That was it. It was my main thing for moving to Ireland from Edinburgh. So when we had the horses at home, I noticed how differently they were around Joe, As a toddler with Down syndrome, he could go in the stable with the horses, and they were so gentle. And then I'd walk in, or my daughter would walk in, completely different. It was amazing. And even like I was teaching him to ride, he didn't want to learn the conventional way. So after I took the package from the bank, after 20 years, I escaped and decided, right, retrain. And I did some investigations. So I went down to Wicklow to retrain as a therapeutic riding coach. And suddenly Joe was like, he loved this different approach, because you basically play games on a horse, because you're doing OT exercises, physio exercises. We work on communication. We work on the gross fine motor skills, sequencing, colours, numbers. We can bring anything in, but because they're on a horse, they don't realise they're working their bodies. I mean, even it's so much more than just sitting on a horse. It really is. And even, I mean, a great fact is there's 110 movements per minute when a horse walks, going through their body. So their core, their whole bodies are moving, strengthening, and it's amazing to watch, pure magic.
So they're doing all this good stuff, and they're getting all this benefits sort of unknowns to themselves.
Exactly.
Because they're focusing on being up on the back of a horse and just the joy of that.
Yeah, because we don't use a saddle, we just use a pad and roller. So they are getting that direct movement and heat into their bodies. And they even regulation, because they're getting that sensory input. A lot of children, young people with autism especially, they can't self-regulate, and it's made a huge difference to their regulation. It's, I have to say,
I can vouch for...
Ellen actually, we actually met because I was volunteering at Blue Stack and Ellen was there. So we actually met, so we actually collaborate a lot.
Okay.
And Ellen has come to me, and it's a magical moment when Mel actually phoned me and told me the effect it had on Ellen coming to us.
Yeah. And it was only after 2 sessions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2 sessions. Ellen just kept standing up. She just kept standing up. All she wanted to do was go from sitting to standing all the time. And that was the effect off the horse. But now we've been going almost a year, and now the changes we notice is from sort of sitting but lying on the horse. She's sitting up, and she's not only able to move her head around, she can move the top of her torso around to see what's happening behind. So it really has supported her in progressing the strength in her core.
And Katie, you find that it has all sorts of other benefits as well. It's not just about movement, but calming effects and good for
empathy.
Mental health.
Huge for empathy. And this is why I actually, once I qualified, I thought, all right, this is it. And suddenly I realised how the emotional helped as well. So I've actually just qualified as an emotional well-being coach using horses. And there's a lot of other training I'd like to do as well to bring this on. And I need more horses and more time. But it's just. I mean, there's actually an equine facility attached to Castlereagh Prison now.
Okay.
Because it's helping with rehabilitation of inmates. Like, the possibilities are huge, absolutely huge.
After working 20 years in the bank, I'd say this has helped your mental health as well.
It's a lot more fulfilling, I can assure you.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And whereabouts is Caring Capall based?
Caring Capall is actually in Fulcara.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is only 35 minutes from Letterkenny, because I know a lot of people in Letterkenny don't like to travel too far out of Letterkenny. But
It's exactly. It's just over half an hour up the road.
But it's amazing. Like, somebody that comes from Scotland, whenever they come home, they bring their child because they can't get a facility near them in Scotland. I have people coming up from Dublin. When they come up to their holiday home, they come to me. So,
and are the lessons individual or group?
They are individual. It's just I wouldn't have enough staff, horses to do groups, and they deserve the best. They need that one-to-one. They need to build up that relationship with the horse and the coach. There's always a leader. It's for safety, and it's for their own development. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's intense, and our kids deserve the best. I mean, like, and no harm with Ellen. I mean, she has Angelman syndrome, even a child with Down syndrome, child with autism, child with ADHD, or even any emotional. You don't know something could happen like that. You have to be on the ball, and you have to individualize it, because it's not a one fits all
everybody's
program.
different, yeah.
Everybody's different. Something interests, like I have dinosaurs there. Some kids like dinosaurs. Some of them like numbers. Some of them, do you know what I mean? So we change it around to whatever their interests are and what they need to work on themselves.
Okay. Melanie, Communication Angel, based where and available where?
So I do quite a hybrid model. I've got clients that are over in the UK as well as here in Ireland. About 60% of the supports I deliver are online, and probably about 40% are in person through workshops and training and in-school support.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you do quite a bit of work in schools.
Yeah. I think that's my favourite bit, because I coach the teachers, but the teachers have multiple students that they can then transfer those skills onto. So it's really rewarding to see the progress that the teacher makes and their confidence and skills, and be able to use the communication systems, and then the impact that has on the students. It's lovely.
Maximum impact.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. If you excuse the expression. Okay, well, listen, great stories, and I wish you both continued success. Thanks for sharing, and sharing it this week, this showcase week. Just a reminder, by the way, that tomorrow there's still some places left on DLDC's Exploring Self-Employment Workshop. That's on here in Letterkenny in the Mount Errigal Hotel from 10 to 3 tomorrow. And it's for anyone that's considering self-employment. Booking is essential, so get in touch with DLDC. And on Friday at DLDC's offices in Letterkenny, also in Gweedore and in Donegal Town, there's drop-in clinics. So that's on Friday between 10 and 2. No appointment is needed for those. Melanie Boyle, Communication Angel, and Katie Coyle of Caring Capall, thank you both.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much for
Thanks.
having